Stop your habit of procrastination. Almost everyone has been afflicted by procrastination at one time or another, that nagging menace that compels us to put things off for another day, another time. For some people, it appears in only some areas of their lives, and for others, it is a persistent problem. The result, though, is the same for everyone: increased anxiety, wasted time, poor performance, missed opportunities, guilt, excusing ourselves and avoiding people who depend on us. Procrastination is not a trivial problem. It causes suffering for many people. There is no research indicating that gender or intelligence impacts one's tendency to procrastinate, but age may have something to do with it. One research study finds that procrastination peaks in the mid to late 20s, decreases for the next 40 years, and then increases again in the 60s. People with depression, who may have low energy and hold negative thoughts about their ability to get things done, frequently have problems with procrastination. And then there is the perfectionist. Those perfectionists who set their own standards seem to have no problem with sloth, but those who have adopted the standards set by others do have trouble completing their work. This is because they are sensitive to the evaluations they might receive from others. They want to avoid social disapproval.
Procrastination is also common for those who feel overwhelmed and cannot readily calm down, fear failure, experience low self-esteem, have a low frustration tolerance, have trouble concentrating, tend to clash with authority figures, are rebellious by nature. We procrastinate and talk about superficial things with our partner rather than confronting the deeper issues that really need to be addressed. And play solitaire on the computer rather than working on the report that's due at the end of the day. And tell ourselves that we'll start our taxes next week. Clearly, we are neither accomplishing those things that need to be done, nor confronting the underlying reasons for our procrastination. So what do we tell ourselves to justify our behavior? Here are some of the most common excuses that we use. We spend our time on easy tasks and say that we are so busy that we cannot get to the major project. We might answer phone calls, read emails, clean the living room, have lunch, anything that we find simple and are emotionally prepared to do, rather than face the task that we really have to do. We tell ourselves that we simply had to clear up these trivial tasks before tackling our project, and there was no time left. Thus we gain some satisfaction from busying ourselves and alleviating our guilt, but the major task is never finished. It is easy to externalize blame. If only I had gotten that promotion, then I would be more engaged in my job. If only my partner would do the laundry, I would have time to do the things I need to do. If I had a faster computer, I would find more enjoyment in sitting down to write the report. The problem here is that we selectively focus on one excuse, and ignore the reality of the total situation. The simple truth is that we have a project to do, and we have to take into account everything that helps or impedes us, and then move on from there. Things are seldom perfect in anything we do. We need to separate our emotions from the task itself. In fact, working at the task gives us a good opportunity to see what emotions arise, confront them honestly and better understand them. Avoiding painful feelings lets them linger on into the future, but acknowledging them can break our emotional patterns, paving the way for healthier, more conscious habits. I'll diet after the holidays. I'll wait until I'm in the mood to call my old friend. I'll buy new clothes when I lose 20 pounds. Although there may be some logic to all of these strategies, they exemplify a major cause of procrastination. We set up artificial barriers which may have little to do with actually completing the task at hand. When we place limitations on our ability to work, it makes the completion of the task all the more difficult.
12 strategies for overcoming procrastination. 1. Examine your shoulds. This applies to oughts, musts, and have-tos as well. When we feel obligated to someone else, we may feel inhibited. Change these statements to wants, and then you assume responsibility yourself for doing a task. Rather than saying, I should call my son's teacher, change it to I have to call my son's teacher. 2. Look at your excuses rationally. In fact, make up a list of the excuses you use which prevent you from getting a job done. Then examine each excuse and beside it write out a more realistic thought. For example, I'm not in the mood can be reinterpreted as mood doesn't get the job done. 3. Use self-motivating statements. How we define a task can alter our motivation for completing it. Many people repeat phrases to themselves, or even post notes in visible places, which serve to spur them on. Try out phrases like, the sooner I'm done, the sooner I'm free, or there's no time like the present. 4. Make a to-do list. Write out a list of things you need to do this week and then cross them off, one by one, when they are done. With this list, you can see exactly what needs to be accomplished, and you can get a feeling of fulfillment as the list gets whittled down. 5. Set priorities. On your to-do list, rank the jobs that need to be done in order of their importance. Starting with the most important, focus on only one job at a time. 6. Take a stand. Write yourself a contract to complete a job and sign it. Or tell a supportive friend that you plan to finish a job by a certain date. Make your project a public endeavor rather than keeping it to yourself. Gaining the support of others and having them hold you accountable helps when you feel stymied. 7. Organize. Make sure you have a clean work area and all of your materials in front of you. Eliminate distractions like the TV, games, food. If you need to concentrate, warn others that you will be unavailable during a certain time. 8. Manage your stress. There are a number of techniques you can use to deal with anxiety: deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, visualization, physical exercise, relaxation tapes, humor and music. 9. Just get started. You don't have to wait until you feel inspired to write that speech. Just write whatever comes to mind, and you can revise it later. Even the longest journey begins with one small step. 10. Reward yourself when you accomplish a small goal. Rather than procrastinating a whole afternoon by calling friends, call a friend only when you have written a page of the report as a way of rewarding yourself. 11. Look at all you have accomplished. Rather than punishing yourself for not having done enough, take the more positive approach of examining all that you have done. Is the glass half empty or half full? 12. Celebrate the completion of your task. Have a specific reward in mind for when your project is finished. Go out for dinner. Go to a movie. Take a weekend trip. Have a party. The celebration should be equal to your task.
Can I really change an old habit like procrastination? Keep in mind that most people relapse. Research has found that only about 20% of all people make complete changes on their first try. Most people have setbacks during the change process. Anticipate this to happen and look on it as something positive. After all, you can learn from your setbacks. A relapse does not mean that you have to start all over again. You can change uncomfortable patterns of behavior, and procrastination, fortunately, is one of those habits most amenable to change. But don't put it off, just do it.